Hello there. In this video I'm going to be looking at shared layouts and CSS modules. Now, what is shared layouts? What I mean by shared layouts is when you're creating a website, you'll have like headers and footers on every page. So instead of having the same piece of code for your headers and footers, code or markup, you can have it in a sort of a template, and then you just render your content inside the template. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a responsive menu, and you'll be able to use it on different pages. So I'm going to be also going into how to style it using CSS modules. So what we're going to be building is going to look like this. So I've got 3 pages. I've got home, about, and contact, and each page will have a navigation menu header and some content and some footer. And if you can navigate through the pages, and as you can see here, if I make it smaller, then the menu becomes responsive, as you can see here. So I've got a sort of a hamburger menu that slides in, and these are all active as well. So that's what we're going to be building. To follow along with this tutorial, you would have already run npx next app and gave it a name, so I've given it my app. So yeah, as you can see on the left hand side, I've got all the folders set up already. And I'm going to be going to a CodePen account for this channel, and I'm going to be copying a hamburger menu, a responsive hamburger menu from there. So I'll go over the code for that. Then I'm going to create global styles and component styles for the navbar. Then I'm going to edit the app.js, and this is where we're going to be putting in the shared layout. And so I'm going to go over that. Then I'm going to copy over the hamburger code into my layout component, and then we're going to sort of adjust things on there to make it work. We can also create some dummy pages so that we'll have something in the menu. So if you like these type of videos, please press the subscribe button and to see more videos like this. Thank you. Now I just want to talk a little bit about CSS modules. CSS modules is installed when you do a create next app. It's already installed and configured. As you can see from the directory, I've got the styles folder, which has got a global.css and a home module.css. So the way it's structured is that you put all your global styles. This is related to all the styles that you associate with the native elements like HTML body, a link, and div. So these will be applied on globally. You would not put any of your class selectors here and styling information about classes. The reason for that is you put those classes within the components. So that's the philosophy around CSS modules. So if I go into the home.modules, see, as you can see here, the naming convention is home.module.css. So the module part tells it that it's related to a component. So as you can see inside the home.modules file, we got the CSS selectors and its styling rules. So as you can see, I've got container and its styling rules for the container. I've got a main section, and I've got the styling for the main and the footer and so on. So that's how you style your components. So it's notice that we're using all classes, we're not using any IDs though. So that's something to note. So and as you apply these to component level, you won't have any name clashes. So you'll have like different module.css files for different components, so they never clash because they are applied on the component level at build time. Now the way to use it is if I go into one of the pages and the first page that the index page, the default page that was created, you can see at the top we've got styles from and our home.modules.css file. So then we use it on individual elements as class name equals and styles.main. So we're applying the mains styling for this element, and we're applying the title styling for this, the H1 element. So that's how you apply it. It's quite simple. There's nothing really complicated about this. So that's the convention that you have to follow. Okay, next I'm going to look at how pages are rendered in Next.js. So to really understand how it's rendered, you need to look at under the pages we have _app.js. Okay, this is the root component that stitches your pages together, your site together. So when a request is made, your page gets passed through this component, and then it gets rendered. So this part is, as you can see, is passing a page props. So if you select the home page, it will pass it as pass the home page as page props. So what we can do to So what we can do is we can render things before and after it, and that's what we're going to do. So we can put in a new component, and we call it layout, and then we're going to move the pages component, or shall I say a page controller component. So we put that in between our layout component. Now we haven't created the layout component yet, so that's what we're going to do. So now we got a layout component which doesn't exist yet, and within that layout component we've got a child component which is our page controller component. So what we can do is in React, you can wrap a component and then around other components, and those and the in-between components become children, and this can be accessed within the layout component. So what we need to do now is create the layout component, and within that component we can put in headers and footers and any other markup or code that we need to include as a template, as a shared piece of code or markup. So before I go any further, I'm going to just put it back to what it was before, and I'm going to just run the server, make sure that everything's working. Just delete this, and it's new terminal, and I'm going to cd into my app, and it's npm run dev. There you go, it's running. Okay, now we're gonna put in the layout. It's layout. Just gonna put that in there. So now we need to create a layout component. Okay, so I'm going to go into I'm going to create a components folder there and in the root. Okay, so I'm above pages. Okay, so go component, and inside there I'm going to create a file called layout.js. We're going to have an export default function, and we're going to call it layout. Now we're going to have children. Now remember that we get props passed down, which is an object, and this is destructuring the props, and inside the props you have another object called children. So as I said earlier, if I go back and in the apps.js, you've got in between the layout elements, I've got component. Now this is passed as props, and it will appear as children. So that's what we're doing. We're destructuring props and extracting children. Now if I do a simple return, and I'm just gonna use layout. Okay, then I'm gonna output the children as well. And we should get this message before the rest of the page is rendered. Okay, now if we go back to app.js, and we need to remember we've just written the code for layout component, so we need to import it at the top. So that's what we're going to do. And so it's import layout from component slash layout. Okay, so it's gonna get it from the component directory. So if I save this, and I should be able to check it. Okay, so it's come up now. So okay, so that's working. Now we need a style for this now. So we need to create a style module, just as the home.modules.css. We need to create a file with that for. So I'm going to click inside the styles folder, and then I'm going to go and click new, and I'm going to call it layout.module.css. So in our layout, I'm going to say, so I'm going to have some styling, some big text. I'm going to have some font size, 54 pixels, and I'm going to say color red. Now I need to bring this into our layout component. Okay, so I need to go in there, and at the top I'm going to do an import, and it's going to be styles from our styles layout module.css. Okay, so now we've got that in there. Now we need to apply the big text style. So I'm going to give it a class name, and name equals, and curly brackets, and I will say styles dot big text. Okay, so remember we need to apply the styling through the class name, and we need to link it with the selector in our modules in our layout module.css. So that's what I'm doing here. So if I save this and go into my CSS, there you go. This is my layout styling. Now if I go into the debugger and inspect it and inspect the class name, now you can see it's layout underscore big text underscore, and it's got this funny number. So it's generated this name. So it will be a unique name, and if I use the same class name in another module, it will be a different name. It won't be the same name. So that's the good thing about CSS modules. It's the scope is it's component level scope. So now I'm going to take a look at the responsive bar that we're going to be using. So this is on CodePen. This is just a JavaScript version of what we're going to be using. So as you can see in the markup, if I expand that, okay, so it's all enclosed under a header, and then it's got a nav element, and then inside the nav element I've got a brand logo, and I've got an unordered list that contains the actual list of the menu list. So I've just expanded this so you can see clearly. Okay, so home, about, contact. So that is under the unordered list. Okay, so and I've given these class names and at the sort of end, I've got the button for the hamburger. So if I narrow it, you can see the hamburger menu, and if I click on it, it sort of animates, and it animates the menu, and it's off screen and it comes in, slides in. So there you go. Okay, so that's the HTML markup. Okay, so we can just copy that into our and we're going to be changing the bits. So instead of, because this is JavaScript, because this is HTML, we have to change this to React.js. So it's going to be class name. So it'll be class name equals curly brackets. So that's what we need to do that. Okay, so that's the markup. We need to convert that to a sort of JSX, which is not that much work. Okay, so and the CSS, so I've got some global styles here. So I'm just going to copy that into the global styles, and this is sort of applying it to all elements. Giving it a sort of reset margin padding, and just resetting the HTML body tags with the sort of reset styles, and also the list elements and anchor text and buttons. So this will be in the global CSS, and this will be in our layout component. So this is the styling for the header, Navbar, hamburger. So the hamburger is hidden on full length. Okay, so you can't see the hamburgers, but when you decrease the width, you see it. So that's done in the media query. So I've got a media query here, and that's on small screens. I'm gonna display the hamburger. All right, so that's the hamburger, and these are the little bars. Okay, these bars. Okay, and that has a little animation there, transition. When it on smaller screen it animates. I can just show you. So the hamburger bar. So this is animating the hamburger bar. So as you can see, I've got the dot bar, and the second bar hides itself. So the second bar hides itself in the small screen. So and then the other two bars rotates. So that's sort of animation thing going on. So that's that. So we can just copy the whole thing and into a layout CSS module. So once again, I'll leave the link in the comment section, and if you can, you can just copy that. It's code pen / UI code TV / pen, and it's got this funny number there. So just keep a note of that, and I'll also copy it in the comment section. So I'm gonna first copy the global styles into our global. So I'm gonna just copy this global section into this code. I'm going to the global CSS and I'm just going to replace everything. So once again, I've just copied the global styles. So now I'm going to go back and copy the layout component styling. I'm going to put it into the layout module, layout module.css. So I'm just going to replace that. What's in there? Okay, now save. All right. So we've got the styles in here now. So we've got all the styles copied over. Now we're going to the layout. We're gonna copy the markup for the menu. So I'm gonna go back and we go to the HTML section. So we're gonna copy all this over, and then we're gonna change all the class names. So go back, and so as you can see, we've got this bit which is the children. So as you recall, the children is the actual content for the page. So we need to preserve that. Okay, so we're going to delete the p tag that we had. Okay, just and make this more clearer. So we got the so we're gonna put. So I can just say you can put the, so you can say I can put the footer here. So okay, so we can put a footer here afterwards, and here we're going to put the nav section. So I've so I'm going to paste the markup here. So I'm going to go back and copy the markup and then paste it here. Okay, so started that up a little bit. Okay, so got the navbar. Now we need to change every single one of these class attributes. So it's going to be class name. We're going to put it into JSX form. Name equals, and it's curly brackets, and it's styles dot header, and it's curly brackets. So do the same for all of them. Name curly brackets styles dot navbar. So I'm just going to quickly go through this very fast. Okay, now that I've made all the changes, I can save it and check it out on the browser. Okay, so it's got the styling done properly now. So if I resize the window, so it changes. Okay, so Okay, so when I resize the window, it will give me the hamburger menu now. Okay, so but there's no interactive activity to it, so it's not doing anything. It's not sliding the menu in. Now, if I go back into the code pane, uh, I haven't looked at the JavaScript side yet, so I'm going to look at the JavaScript side now. Right, so the JavaScript part, what it's doing is it's toggling the class for the hamburger uh, element and nav menu element. So if I go back, so it is toggling the class an active state for this the menu and the hamburger. So and when the state changes, it that's when it activates the CSS animation. But just to refresh, when you click on the hamburger menu, uh, it will call the mobile menu function, which the mobile menu function will toggle the class active on the hamburger and the menu elements. And also there's a event handler for nav link. When you click on the nav link, it will close the menu. So the close the menu just removes the active state. So and when you remove the active, when you toggle the active state, that's when the animation kicks in the CSS side. So we're going to implement this in a React way of using useState and toggling class. So going back to our code, we're going to be using a state to control the menu. So as you remember, we're going to be toggling this an active state to this particular element, the UL element, and it's going to be the nav menu and also the hamburger menu. So we're going to say if it is open. So first we need to use state. So we're going to import and use state from React, and then we're going to say constant is open and set is open equals use state, and we're going to set it to false. Okay, so it's going to be closed. So what that means is we can apply it to here now. So we're going to say is open, and we're going to say triple equals to and false, and it's going to be, we're going to do a ternary, and if it's false then we just want styles.menu, but if it's true then we're going to have styles.menu, and it's going to also be plus space. Okay, so we've got an invert double quotes and we've got a space in there, and then we're going to say another plus, and then we're going to say styles active. So what this is doing is it's rendering an extra state there. So we're just adding two strings together here, well, three strings, a space and active state. So this will be, and we do this to the hamburger menu as well. So let me just. Okay, so we're gonna do that to the hamburger menu as well. So same thing here, is open triple equals to and is false, and colon, and so if it's false we're gonna just have hamburger, but if it's question mark there, and that colon there, and same. So we're going to add defaults and a space between there, and we're going to add active state. So it's going to, instead of a hamburger, it's going to be active. Now save this. So all we've done is we've introduced a ternary expression here. So it's gonna default to stars hamburger, but it won't. But we haven't changed the state, so it's not gonna change to this state at the moment because we haven't got a click handler for it. So if I go back and check, okay, so it's not doing anything. That's as expected. And the important thing is, we got the, we haven't got the active state there. So okay, that's okay. Right now we need to add the click handler. So to add the click handler, okay, we can add it. Yeah, just gonna clean this up. Okay, so I'm gonna just add on click equals curly brackets, and I'm gonna call it open menu. Okay, and so when you click it, we're gonna run this function open menu. So at the top we're gonna have constant open menu here, constant open menu equals its arrow function, and its set is open, and we're going to say not is open. So I'll save that, and I just change that to a camel case open menu and open menu. So just change that to camel case. So when you click on open menu, I'm gonna run this, and it's gonna set is open, and it's gonna change the state to not what is open. So it's gonna toggle the state there. So if it's true, it's going to be false. If it's false, it's going to be true. So if I save that, colon there, save it, and refresh. There you go. So when I expand it, so the menu goes away. When I reduce the size, menu appears, click on it, and it animates, slides the menu in, and the hamburger menu gets animated. So just to recap, what we've done is we've introduced this state, and we create a state called isOpen, and we set it to false, and then based on that state, we're going to render active class to the menu and the hamburger icon. So, and when you click on the hamburger icon, we run this. There's a click handler open menu. So the open menu, all it does is it changes the state of is open. So it will toggle the state. So true to false or false to true, and depending on that, it changes the menu. That's all we're doing. Right now, we only got one page. Okay, this is our home page. So, so as you remember, when we go to the root, it's running. This is the index page. So the index page is this. So what we can do is we can create additional pages now, right? So in the layout, we've got home, about, and contact. Now, when you're linking, when you're interlinking between pages on your site, there's a special way of doing that. And if I go to the next site and you use a special special component to do that, and it's the next link component, and you can see in this example how they're using it here. So you do an import and you write your links like this. So you have a link element, and within there you'll have your anchor link. So that's how we need to write it. And so it'll be slash, so this is the home, slash the root, and slash about, so we can create an about page. And you know, the hreg will be relative to your root. So that's what we're going to do. So first thing we do is import link. Okay, so we go to the top and we just place it at the top. And so we're going to just wrap link and href equals slash so this is we're gonna do this for all of them, but in the href we're just gonna have the proper address. Now I've changed all that and I'll save it. Now if I go to the browser, I've got the links. So I click on the home, and the home is, we've got home page. Click on the about. So you see the URL is changed to about, but you can't find it. It's a 404. So we haven't created this page. So if I click on contact, okay, we don't have a contact page and it's a 404. But we have the menu. So the menu is being rendered for all pages, but the content is missing. So our layout is working, but the individual page content is not there. So what we need to do, we just need to create dummy pages for about and contact. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to just copy index under pages. I'm just going to create index, copy, and paste it there, then paste another one, and I'll rename that to about, and rename the second one to contact. Okay, so if we go into the contact, and I'm just gonna edit this and get started. I'm just gonna change that to welcome to contact page, and just gonna delete all this. So it's got a main. Okay, so just going to copy this. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to copy that into the about page. Select all, paste, and this is the about page. Okay, so I saved this. So I've got 3 pages now. I've got the index page, which is the home page, and the contact page. I rename that. Rename contact. So I've got the contact page, about page. Okay, so and just gotta rename that to about, and that to, and name the function name to contact. Remember, it's capital contact. Okay, so now I've got 3 pages: home page, contact, and about. So I've saved all this, and I'll save the about page. Okay, now if I go back, so I've got the home page, about page, contact page. Ooh, so contact is not working. All right, let me just, so contact, and so in the layout, so I've got contact with a capital C. So alright, so I had a capital C there, so I just changed it to lowercase. So alright, so I've got the contact page, about page, and the home page. So that's how. So as you can see here, I've got in the layout, I've got the menu, and then I've got the children, which is the, so the pages are the children. So whenever you request the page, you're getting the markup, or the rendering markup for that. It's running the page component for about and contact. So that's how you use the layout in the app.js. So you can add a footer there, and you add extra markup in the footer section, and that will appear there. Okay, so I can add a footer to this. So before I do that, I can just do some cleanup. I need to make the fonts a bit bigger. So if I go back to the global styles, and if I go to the default font, I just make that 1 REM. Okay, so that should make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's much better. All right, so the footer's there. So I can, if I go to the footer is on the home page, so I can remove that footer. If I go to the index page, and I can remove the footer from there. Cut. I can put it in the layout, right? So now, and I just need to put it between a container. So div class name equals styles dot container, and that goes there. So I've got it in between a container, and I've got a footer. So, but this is using styles from the home module. So if I go back, so just copy, so just import that into my layout. So now I'm using styles from the home module as well. So that footer will be styled properly. So that's another way of using. Identifier styles has already been declared. All right. Okay. So I can use I just call it styles 2. Okay. So we're going to style 2. installs to. Okay, so this is done it. So I can just remove that from the index page. So I can just remove the footer from there. Just tidy it up and save it. And on the contacts, remove the footer from there. Save it. And on the index page, remove the footer. I'll save it. Okay, so there you go. So I've got the header, footer, bit large, but you can. It's just for demo purposes. So I've got the header, footer, and the layout with the footer works, everything. So that's how you do a layout and a navigation menu that you can share with all your pages. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please subscribe and see you soon.